AV in your ears. That's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street. You already know. Let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
What's up? This is Scott Russo from Unwritten Law, and you're listening to Fascination Street Podcast. Turn it up.
Yeah. AV in your ears. That's Ambush Being, giving you this audio visual down the most interesting street in the world. With my boy Steve, Fascination Street. You already know. Let's get it. When you whip in the Fascination Street, what do you...
Welcome back, Streetwalkers. This episode is with Tre Russo. Tre is the lead singer and the bass player for the band Soundivision. We say it a lot during the episode, but Soundivision is one word, one D. Soundivision. Soundivision. One word, one D. In this episode, we get to know Tre and how he got into the music business. Tre Russo's father is the great Scott Russo of Unwritten Law. He has been on the show twice before. We talk a little bit about his dad here and there and the influences and the support system that his dad is. But we really don't focus a lot on Scott because this episode is about Tre. So we talk about the creation of the band Soundivision, how the three of these guys got together, and what made them want to be musicians in the first place. We talk about their debut album, which just came out January 16th, 2026. The album is called Invincible. It is 10 tracks of awesome. And because Tre is also awesome, he lets me play my favorite song off the album. It's hard to define the genre of this album because each track sounds a little bit different. So you could go anywhere from pop punk to some heavier rock. You can call it whatever you want, but this album, Invincible by the band Soundivision, kicks the ass. I was checking it out on Spotify, but it's available everywhere. They are playing shows all over California and I think Vegas or something like that. So be sure and follow them on the Instagrams. Check out their website. Tre gives all of that important information toward the end of the episode. Definitely check them out. You're going to enjoy these guys and get to know their names because Soundivision is not going anywhere. They're here to stay, and they're here to melt your faces. And this is my conversation with Soundivision's very own Tre Russo.
Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated. Prepare to be fascinated.
Welcome to Fascination Street Podcast, Tre Russo. What's up, dude?
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tre Russo, singer and bass player for Soundivision?
Yeah, singer and bass.
And Soundivision is one word and one D.
Mm-hmm.
Why one word, one D?
Well, we were going through a lot of names. We actually started with a different name. We used to be called Ultrafine when we first started our band.
Is it because everybody in the band is good looking?
Yeah, tried. That wasn't why. But we decided to switch to Soundivision. We kind of felt like it was a little bit familiar with, popular bands like Joy Division and Soundgarden. San Diego is where we're all from. And so it kind of has that SD representation in there. And that spoke to us a lot. We thought Soundivision with two Ds and two words, but we decided to, put them together. And we thought that had the coolest look for us. And it's definitely led to a couple issues with people finding us. But, we're playing our shows and we're connecting with the fans out there and they're able to find us when they want to. And it's been pretty awesome.
So you said you've run into a couple of issues with people finding you. What does that mean?
Just we've had people say that they've looked for us and aren't able to find us. And, you mentioned 1D right at the start. And that's definitely something that for a lesser known band isn't something that will be as intuitive with people searching when they just hear us say our name. But, hopefully as we build a rapport with people, that will be more well known.
I agree. Could you imagine trying to start a band? It was easier before the internet, but post-internet and with all the computers and all the phones and everything and the autocorrect and all that, could you imagine trying to start a band and calling it U2 or the Rolling Stones?
Mm-hmm.
That would be really difficult to find, I think. So I think you're right that it will get easier as you guys get a little more well-known. Trey, what I like to do is I like to start from the beginning. It helps us understand how the guests got from where they were to where they are. So, where were you born and raised, man? I think you already said San Diego, but
Yeah.
tell me about growing up over there in the SD.
Yeah. Born and raised in San Diego. Our whole band grew up here.
Did y'all all go to high school together, or like y'all all just grew up together?
Yeah. So there's three of us in the band. It just started with me and the guitar player. And we went to school together growing up in Rancho Penasquitos, where my dad grew up.
Whoa, say that again?
Rancho Penasquitos in San Diego.
Okay, so it sounds like a ranch where mosquitoes pinch you. What is happening?
Almost.
Rancho Pensis. What? Say that again?
Rancho Penasquitos.
It's not real, dude. Come on. You're making up words.
Little suburban town, San Diego. It's nice. And, we loved it there. We went to school all 12 years together there, me and the guitar player. But it wasn't until college where my sister was actually playing music with my dad and they were touring in Australia. And I called my guitar player and we were just really good friends. We'd always talked about making music together. And I was like, yo, like my sister's doing this. They're in Australia. And I really think that if we put in the work that we would have that same opportunity. We've got all these resources with the connections with my dad and all of the family friends that he's brought along that, we felt like we had such a good opportunity and starting point to give it a real try. And it felt like we'd really be leaving a lot on the table if we didn't give it our best go. And, that was so inspiring to see my sister out there touring Australia and traveling the world. And I would love to be able to travel the world myself and to have such a purpose in traveling the world to spread my music. And my dad also talked about his first time to Australia and getting over there and having the people over there sing the words of his songs back to him before he had any idea that they liked him over there. And I'm just seeing so much inspiration in front of me. But getting back to San Diego, I called my guitar player. I was like, we need to commit to writing an album, at least giving it a try and recording it. We can record at my dad's house, which is insanely lucky. And we committed to it right there, man, on the phone. I was doing laundry while we were talking. And so it was just us two for a while. And we wrote a couple songs. I had never played the bass before. We also worked together, me and the guitar player. And so we were talking about our music at work. And one of our coworkers came up to us and was like, yeah, like, I know you guys have been talking about this. I play the drums. And he was really cool. And so we played for a while with him. And that was awesome. And that was where Ultrafine came into play. We played a few shows with Unwritten Law at Pappy and Harriet's in Area 15 in Vegas, which was just unreal. I can get sidetracked all day, but
That's okay. I'll interrupt you every once in a while, like right now.
Sounds good. Perfect.
You mentioned it's a 3-piece band?
Yeah, and I got to finish that thought because we switched drummers.
Oh, okay, good.
So after those shows, we've been playing together for 8 or 9 months, I believe. And our drummer was just he's an indie rock guy. And, we loved him. We worked with him. But, me and the guitar player, Carrick, we were just, we're rockers. And we wanted to do things a little bit harder and have a lot of purpose. And, growing up with Unwritten Law, Wade behind the drums has so much purpose and power behind the kit. And we felt like our guitar riffs kind of had that same power. And we wanted matching drums. And we talked it out and we decided that, we should both be in the bands that we wanted to be in instead of trying to merge our bands into like one that kind of suits everybody. And so now that drummer Lucas is in another indie rock band called Coastal Cocktail. And we ended up picking up a drummer that we played with at our very first show. His name is DJ. And he used to play for a band called Jaws. And they played after us at our very first show. And my dad was there and he kind of prophesized it. He was like, this guy's so good. Like, I really think that, this sound would be better for you guys. And a few months later, their band split up and it felt like a prophecy coming to fruition. Honestly, it was insane. We called him and he was super interested, loved our sound from before. So he grew up here in San Diego also, to close that question out. But that's kind of how we all found each other. And it was just us three. And I had never played the bass before, but we didn't really want to add a fourth person and change the dynamic. And I just kind of picked up the bass and, I started trying to see if I could play it. And I felt like it was a lot easier than guitar. It's like, wow, all the strings are so far apart. And so
and there's so many less of them.
Yeah, right. And so I really enjoyed it. it all fell right into place. And now we feel like we're the perfect trio. We don't want to add anybody. We feel like we've got all the pieces just with the three of us. And it's a pretty special feeling.
Nice. So the drummer's name is DJ?
Yep.
DJ what?
DJ Hernandez.
Okay.
And the guitar player is Carrick Martinson.
How the hell do you spell Carrick?
It's Kerek, like Derek with a K. Martinson.
Well, it sounds like you and Carrick and the first drummer are still on good terms because you just like pimped his whole band. That was really cool of you.
You know, it was sad, obviously, like splitting up. It was like a relationship breakup. It was like, gosh, like I care about you. We've invested so much in this together. But, you know, the bottom line was that like we felt like it was better for each of us independently if we were in the bands that was making the music that we wanted to make instead of trying to compromise so much of our vision for each direction.
That's a very adult decision for a couple of three knuckleheads in college.
Yeah.
Where do you think that grown-up decision-making came from?
I think it kind of just materialized in itself at practice when, you know, we were shooting our ideas and bringing the things that we had written to the table and trying to turn our songs from ideas into complete songs. And it was just something that came up, and I went to school for communication. So I felt like I knew that it was something I wanted to address early, and I try and be as respectful as I can in all my interactions. You know, that was just something that we had talked about a few times as we were going through the process. And eventually it was just like, like we can see that this is kind of where we both want to go. It's definitely sad, but he's still our boy. Lucas Gomez, shout out Coastal Cocktail.
I think that takes away from the sadness that, like you said, it was respectful and it was, you know, mutual and, you know, everybody's happy. Everybody was just maybe not in the right place together musically. So,
you know, everyone's happy now. This is like, that's what we did it for, you know.
I love that. You know, when people break up, they always say, all I want is for you to be happy. And it sounds like that's really what you guys wanted. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier, listeners, he keeps saying my dad. His dad is Scott Russo, lead singer, Unwritten Law for 30 plus years.
Yep.
I know your dad toured like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like growing up with all of those people and all of that influence around you? I know that both you and your sister, ladies and gentlemen, Kaylin, you both have this music in you that just seems to not want to stay in you. Like you just have to get it out there into the world. So is that a product of the growing up around all of that?
Yeah, I think 1,000%. I mean, I was going to concerts since before I could talk. I was falling asleep on the side of stages. I can sleep through any loud noises because of it, I think. But it was just awesome growing up. Honestly, from my perspective, I feel like there's so many late nights where my dad would have all these influential people like coming through the house, coming through our studio. And to me as a kid, 10 years old, I have no idea who, you know, Dale the Funky Homo Sapien is. And as I'm growing older, I'm seeing these other artists, Big B, coming through our house. It's really inspiring to see their collaboration and to see the process that they put in. We'd be listening to the same song blasted through the house until 3 a.m. You know, they're working on getting it sounding perfect. So I saw those processes and I just saw all these influential people coming through, not only in music, but my dad was really big in the surf scene and skateboarding scene. And so we were often with a lot of pro surfers and skateboarders. And I think it taught me a lot about work ethic and, you know, how much they put in and just what it takes. I feel like our band has the talent and the resources. And now it's just about putting in the work. And we are putting in that work. We're not taking any shortcuts. We're doing everything as legit as we can. I know the hours that I put into the craft and I'm totally proud of everything I put out because of it. And I know that I feel like I'm doing things the right way.
So when you were telling the story about growing up with all these influential people coming through your house and getting to see, you know, not only just musicians, but the surfers and the skaters and all of these professionals, what kept flashing in my mind, and I was going to interrupt you, but I didn't have to because you brought it up, was work ethic. And I was just sitting here thinking, wow, so this dude, this kid, as he's growing up and he gets to see that, yeah, art is cool and art is, you know, it's magical and it's effervescent, but he also gets to see that in order to become proficient or become a professional at even art, there is a significant amount of work and work ethic involved. And I think that's super dope that you got to learn that and see that front row from an early age. That's rad as hell.
Yeah, it's rad.
I want to talk about bass real quick. I don't play any instruments because I'm an idiot. So we said earlier that the bass, the strings are further apart. There's less of them. You're bigger and fatter around. Bro, do you have to push harder on the bass than you do on the guitar?
I feel like I don't have to push harder on the bass than the guitar. I don't know if that's the right answer, honestly.
Well, me either. That's why I'm asking.
I feel like my guitar, at least an acoustic guitar, you got to push down pretty hard on the strings. The strings are like higher off of the neck. And I feel like on bass, you just kind of got to get pretty close. And, when you hit that strum, it'll rumble. I think it's a bit easier for me to sing and play the bass at the same time. Although there is a groove that is kind of a different cadence than the melody a lot of the time. And that was definitely tricky at first. But with that work ethic and practicing, it kind of becomes second nature. One thing my dad has taught me that's been really important when singing is trying to hit every single note, not just the first and last note of a line, but every vocal note of the whole line needs to be in key. And that's something that I'm always working on to try and get better. But in that vein, I don't really have the focus to pay attention to my bass because every vocal note needs that attention, to get our music sounding as good as it can be.
So where do you think that note from your dad came from? Is that something he was seeing in you, or is that something he was seeing in, he's been in the music business for twice your lifespan. So is that something he was just seeing out there, or is that something that he thought specific to you that needed work? The hitting every note instead of the first and the last.
Yeah, that's definitely advice he learned along the way from people coaching him. And luckily, he's got 30 years of advice and input of people coaching him that he's been able to share with me in a lot less than 30 years. But it did come up immediately after our first show. So I imagine that is definitely a testament to my vocal performance.
That's really funny.
Yeah, so it's advice that he got himself, but immediately when he recognized I could apply it, it was like, okay, he's always looking for ways to improve our band. And that's like one of the most special things about our relationship is like how much he cares and how much he knows I want to do it. And he's not sugarcoating anything. He gives so much love and feedback into our music, but he also keeps it 100% real, knowing that we want to be a legit band and knowing what it takes.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors. Let's get back into it.
So one of the cool things about your dad, I have had the opportunity to speak with him twice on this show, and I don't know how much of it I cut out when I edited it.
Yeah.
But both times that I talked to him, he made it clear that you and your sister are two of the biggest reasons that he, made it through all of his rough times and frankly is still alive. You don't really hear a whole lot about, especially in the punk or the pop punk scene, yeah, family's important, but it's usually not the thing that an artist talks about in the forefront, and your dad really, really does. So I think it's super dope that you and your sister have that kick-ass relationship with him.
Yeah, I think we got a pretty special connection.
I agree. Let's talk about this album. Ladies and gentlemen, Soundivision has released their debut album. It is called Invincible. Why Invincible? That's usually like the third or fourth album.
Yeah.
You can't bring us down. We're still here. You guys are
right.
coming out of the gate with it. You can't stop us.
We went through a few names. We settled on Invincible. It's actually a lyric from the first track on the album, Liar's Dice. And we felt like it was a really powerful lyric. It says, I feel invincible. I got no fear, risk it all.
Who wrote that line?
I wrote that line.
Why do you have no fear?
It was really just within the song. I definitely feel like I have fear, but when I'm in the song, that is like almost a character, and I can just feel like that energy takes over. It was really representative to the song. The song is kind of about the illusion of invulnerability and thinking that you can't make mistakes when you are succeeding and like on top of the world, essentially. And so it's kind of about having that like attitude, like I can't even make a mistake. I'm going to do what I want. It doesn't really turn out well for the character in the song, but we felt like that was a really powerful lyric. And I think we wanted to have the album name be one of the lyrics from one of our songs. And it was the first track on the album. And we felt like not only was it a powerful lyric, but it came with that tone that you mentioned. We're here, we're not messing around. We're coming out strong. We want to set a tone about who we are. and build that like identity of being unbreakable and doing things our way.
I like coming out of the gate with that ethos of we have nothing to lose.
Mhm.
Because you don't have a reputation to lose. You don't have fans to lose. You guys are brand new.
Mhm.
And to just come out being like, look, we're here. What about it? Either you're going to like us or not, but we got nothing to lose because this is who we are.
1,000%.
How many tracks are on the album?
10 tracks on the album.
Did you guys write more and had to figure out which 10 to keep?
We wrote probably 13, but I would say the ones we didn't keep never really saw the full finished product and potential of them. They weren't fully recorded. The 10 that we kept were the only 10 that were fully recorded and finished. But a lot of those had rewritten choruses, a bunch, things like that kind of made them more than 10 songs in a way.
That goes back to the work ethic, and getting it right, making sure it's exactly what you want it to be before you let it out into the world. Mm-hmm. Where did you record the album?
It was a combination. We recorded the first few songs at my dad's house in Tijuana. He's got a little studio down there. It was a little setup. Later on, we decided we wanted to be able to access studio a lot more frequently.
What? You mean you can't just run from San Diego to Tijuana at the drop of a hat?
I mean, you can. You really can, but we're all working day jobs. So that made it a little tricky to be able to, get out our music as quickly as we wanted to and be able to put as much work in as we wanted to. And so we've got a studio space in Chula Vista that we share with another band, a metal band, Far Below. So we've done the rest of our recording there and a little bit at my grandma's house where my dad's written and produced 1,000 songs. But yeah, and then just all the production in my bedroom. I've moved 3 times since we started writing it. So the 3 bedrooms that I've had during that process, this is where it's all gone from microphone to the computer and to complete file.
So you said you moved 3 times. Either you're homeless or this album took a while. How long did it take to write and make this album?
Probably about 14 months since we really started working. Yeah, it's been a while. We do all day jobs, and a lot of them are more than 40-hour-a-week jobs. And I was producing all of the music myself. So I'd sometimes come home at 8 o'clock at night and be mixing until 12:30 and repeating that process every day. And it definitely took longer than we wanted. But, I felt like it was because we wanted to do it right. It was definitely a long process, but it was fun. I'm not homeless. Yeah, moved a couple times. I went through a breakup in May.
With the drummer?
Yeah. No, not with the drummer. With my girl.
I'm sorry about that. We don't have to talk about that.
No, it's all good. It was really impactful for our band. All 3 of us recently went through very long-term relationship breakups.
All 3 of you?
All 3 of us. And the shortest of any of those was 5 years. We've got that intensity and passion and drive and time to invest in ourselves also.
Yeah, if you don't have it now, you sure won't have it later. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you produced this album. Where did you learn how to produce music?
It's amateur production, honestly, keeping it 1,000% real.
I'm going to disagree with you because I've listened to this album a few times and there's no amateurs involved in any process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I learned most of it from my dad and the first few recording sessions at his house. He was teaching me along the way. And then I spent a lot of time on YouTube tutorials. And then what's really been helpful, and some people might hate this, but using ChatGPT to teach me how to use all of the tools and plugins. It's a pretty amazing tool. Basically, we'll use it to try to mimic similar tones of other artists. And it's pretty insane. You can give Chat your amp, your bass, and basically give it a song that you want a similar tone for, and it will tell you exactly where to turn all the knobs to have your bass sounding exactly like that sound.
Oh, wow.
Same thing in post-production. I would tell Chat hey, my falsetto just doesn't feel like it's sitting in the right note, and it'll be here's where you could be going wrong. It's probably over compressed, or maybe your plugins are in the wrong order. I'm I do have my compression after my reverb and things like that. And that can make it sound oversaturated. And those are things that I didn't really know until I had this problem, and I'm trying to work through it. Unfortunately, ChatGPT has been definitely helpful in that process of learning the plugins. And I feel like it really makes independent music possible for anyone. If you have an idea in your head, that art is yours, and this tool can help you bring that idea to life.
You said it right there. It's a tool. And everybody who has a problem, like you at the beginning of that, you said, some people might hate this, but I use ChatGPT to help me answer questions.
Mm-hmm.
The people who have a problem with that, well, they can go get bent because AI is not going anywhere. And like you said, It's a tool. And I think that the responsible thing to do in these days is to learn how to use the tools effectively. Mm-hmm. And so everybody who doesn't like that
1,000%
can just get bent. They can.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Beat it, bro.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It's not auto-tune, ladies and gentlemen. This is not auto-tune.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now that one sucks, but ChatGPT, it's just answering questions, man. It's the internet.
It's just a great coach, honestly. It's a coach that knows everything about music production.
That's wild, man. We live in interesting times.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I listened to the whole album. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the album is called Invincible.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You're welcome. Again, ladies and gentlemen, the album is called Invincible. It is by the band Soundivision, one word, 1D. I'm just going to keep saying one word, 1D.
No, I love it.
That's going to be your t-shirt. It's just going to say Soundivision on the front, and in the back, it's just going to say one word, 1D.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been listening to this album a lot this week, and I've been listening to it on Spotify. I'm sure it's everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, go find it everywhere. Mm-hmm. There is a specific song that I am madly in love with, and I was wondering if you would be okay if I played that song on this episode.
Yeah, I would love that.
Okay, now I need you to do me a favor. Absolutely. I need you to do me a favor. Have you ever heard the radio?
Me, yep.
You've heard a radio. Okay, great. Will you do me a favor? Will you introduce this song like you're a radio DJ?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fun.
The name of the song is Crashing Out.
I've never been a radio DJ, so this might be rough. What up, everyone? We're back. Name's Tre Russo. Next one is from Soundivision's debut album, Invincible, and this one is called Crashing Out.
The one that we took from my granddad's crib. Took the keys and off and went out to do the same dumb shit again. Not knowing where we land, but we gotta get out for a little bit. Never stressing about the plan. I think we all know how this one ends. Take that for granted, not always hold on to it. When we get back from this trip, we'll head back to my granddad's crib. Take back the keys to that van, not to the same old shit again.
I love that song so much. I don't know why I love that song. I don't know if it's the lyrics or if it's the music or just the vibe, but that song, like I listened to the whole album because that's what I do. And then I went back and listened on the second time I was listening to see kind of which one I liked the best, what bands I felt might have influenced you guys. And that is the song that just really stuck out to me. I love Crashing Out so much.
Thank you. It's a crowd favorite too at our shows. It's common feedback.
Oh, good. Let's talk about your shows. You mentioned that you guys have opened for Unwritten Law a couple of times at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Like, are you just like, hey, Dad, can, hey, like, how do you get that gig?
You know, this is like my dream to play music. I've been going up on stage with Unwritten Law my whole life.
So I guess that answers the stage fright question, right? You just don't have that?
I mean, I get it. Definitely playing with Unwritten Law with my own band the first time. I never played the bass in front of anybody or anything like that.
Yeah, but you weren't afraid of the people in front of the stage. No. You were thinking about the people behind the stage judging you. That's funny.
1,000%.
That's really funny. How did you get the job to open for your dad's band? Did you have to call in? Did you have to say, hey, Mom, I need a favor?
No.
Can you talk to hey, Grandma, I need a favor?
Yeah, I made Grandma do it. No, when we were writing our songs, he told us when we were ready and we were polished that he would love to play with us, that he would do everything he could to make it happen. And then, you know, we had those shows and we kind of earned our right to keep playing with them, I think. And we just had a few shows with them to start 2026. And I just feel like we crushed them. The crowds loved us.
You guys have already played in 2026?
Oh, yeah. With Unwritten Law, we played Sacramento, January 2nd, San Francisco, January 3rd, and then LA, January 10th, San Diego, January 14th. And then we're playing Redlands.
Wow.
LA, San Francisco, Sacramento. They're insane. The crowd was giving us so much energy everywhere. So, you know, I feel like we're earning our right to keep playing with Unwritten Law. That's, you know, not something that is handed out to every band that starts making music in San Diego. And we were lucky to be able to have that opportunity early in our band's life. But I feel like we've been capitalizing it and, you know, proving that we belong. And I think the crowd reaction and fan feedback after shows has shown that. And it's been a dream. It's almost been like imposter syndrome a little bit. But, you know, I believe in us. I don't feel like we're imposters, but it's just been awesome living the life of a star for those nights that, you know, I've seen my dad live my whole life.
So when you get off that stage, what's that high like?
It's insane. You know, usually we do really well, I think. And so I get off the stage, I'm unloading my gear and I'm talking to my guitar player, my drummer. We're smiling. We're looking at each other like, damn, like we just rocked this place. Let's go, man. That's what we're doing. We're doing it for real. We got it. We're capable of it. And we just got to keep playing shows and keep spreading our music. And, you know, the people say that they love us and that they want to listen to our music. And so we just got to keep getting it out into more people's hands.
I can't imagine that it's easy to go to sleep after you just fucking melt faces like that for an hour or however long you play.
Yeah.
So good on you. Are you familiar with the second date principle? Okay, I'll tell you.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Okay, so
maybe for the listeners, not for me.
Sure, yeah. So here's the thing: you can go on a lot of first dates.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. That's great. But when you know that there's a connection or that you did well on the first date is when you get that second date. Mm-hmm. Because if you're shit on the first date, there is no second date.
Yep.
And so I'm going to apply that to music. It doesn't matter who your father is, and it doesn't matter if you're opening his shows. It doesn't matter. Because if the first time you came out, you embarrassed him or you didn't do well, he has a reputation to protect, and he's got 30 years of fans that would be looking at him going like, dude, what the fuck?
1,000%.
And so the fact that he and the rest of the band let you guys come back, not just for a second date, but a third and a fourth, and you guys are just rocking it. I think that speaks to the work that you guys put in and the skill level that you guys have attained. And I think that him waiting until you're ready was a good move. And apparently in everybody's eyes, you guys were ready to start that journey. So good job on the second date, man.
Thank you. Yeah. And I think what you said was spot on, honestly. You know, early on this process, he was saying like, yo, like you can't embarrass me. You know, like this is what I do. This is my brand, my identity. Like we're going to get you to where you need to be. You know, that perspective, I value it so much because I don't I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to embarrass myself. I want to do this music thing for real. And that's the exact type of feedback that we need, keeping it real from people with the experience.
I love that. And it's coming from a good place. You have a relationship with this man for your whole life.
Mhm.
It's not like a manager is just coming in or a producer is just coming in and saying, look, guys, you guys have holes here. You have opportunities here. You need to work on this, you need to work on that. He's able to couch it in a way because you've had this relationship with him for your whole life. So I think that's a fantastic dynamic.
Yeah, we're lucky.
I don't know if it's luck. I think you earned it. Both of you on both sides. A lot of people don't have that kind of relationship, and it takes work from both people. So
yeah,
I don't think you're lucky. I think that you earned it.
Yeah, and it's hard. We're both artists and we're both extremely attached to our ideas, but we've got such a common goal and so much love. So, we always make it work.
I love it.
Hey, Streetwalkers, here's a word from our sponsors.
Warning. Not listening to Fascination Street podcast may cause unexpected side effects. Side effects may include sudden fits of boredom, irrational curiosity about everything you missed, the inability to name your favorite podcast interview, spontaneous ignorance of obscure celebrity stories, talking to coworkers about nothing because you didn't hear the latest episode. Other symptoms may include excessive use of the phrase, wait, what happened? Chronic seriousness with no trace of laughter or delight, unexplainable urge to scroll aimlessly instead of being entertained. In rare cases, not listening may lead to wandering aimlessly through podcast apps, overexposure to true crime reruns, and thinking you're cooler than you actually are. If you find yourself experiencing any of these symptoms, stop what you're doing immediately and download Fascination Street Podcast. Ask your podcaster if Fascination Street Podcast is right for you. Spoiler alert, it is.
Let's get back into it.
One of the things that I like to talk about on the show is quitting. A lot of people have a lot of quit in them. At the first sign of struggle, people will just give up. For instance, I've been doing this show for 8.5 years. About a year into it, I found out that there was another show that started, another podcast called Fascination Street Podcast. And then about a year after that, there was another Fascination Street Podcast. So at one time, at kind of the beginning, there was 3 podcasts called Fascination Street. And I was like, well, that's going to be super wait, the first one quit already? Oh, okay. Well, okay. All right. Well, then that's still going to be kind of weird because there's 2. Oh, wait, the other one quit too? A lot of people have a lot of quit in them. And so I feel like at the first sign of adversity, people just bail. Particularly since it took you 14 months to make this album. Why didn't you guys quit? Or you can't speak for them, but why didn't you quit? Why'd you keep going?
I wanted to get on stage and play those shows. That was like the big thing. I want to be able to have that be my full-time job and live that life. I see my dad and his schedule. He is touring a lot for shows, and then he has a lot of free days to work on his music or to enjoy however he wants. And, I spend most of my days in an office where I don't get to see the sun very much. And I wanted that change in lifestyle. And, I know what it takes. And I know that I'm definitely not getting it from quitting. And we just had the opportunity in front of us. I'm not sure I could say that I wouldn't have quit if I didn't have these resources and opportunities to capitalize on with, Unwritten Law and with the relationships we've made through them. And now with like local bands in San Diego. We got so many people helping us, supporting us because they believe in us. And that's been the biggest thing. The support we've gotten makes it impossible to quit. I don't know if Kel Bordell, but their singer, Jake, he has been a tremendous boost to us. He's a bookie for the holding company in Ocean Beach. And after we played at the Observatory with Unwritten Law, he was talking to our band backstage. And this was like one of the most impactful moments of our music career so far. He was talking backstage and he was like, please let me book you guys at the holding company as much as we can, because I know soon you'll be too big to play there. And hearing that, it's just like, damn, like, how could I quit when this guy believes in us so much? And not only is he talking about believing in us, but he's acting on his beliefs and supporting us himself and going out of his way to, provide the opportunity for us because, he believes in us that much. And then after the shows, we've got people saying, like, don't give up. The world's in the palm of your hands. Like, you guys have the talent. You guys have the music, the sound, the swag that you bring on stage. And it's that fuel. I feel like if we didn't have that feedback, it'd be a lot easier to quit. But with it, it's like not only letting ourselves down, but letting down all these people that believe in us. Like, quitting seems impossible.
That's a great answer. Are you guys going to tour this album? When did this album come out? Let me ask that first.
The album came out January 16th.
It came out January 16th, 2026?
Yeah.
How nervous were you to put it out into the world, your baby?
I wasn't very nervous. I know it's not 1,000% perfect. I think I could have gone in there and worked on every song for another 100 hours. But that is just a curse of music, is that it's always able to be added onto and adjusted slightly. You could always add things and change things. But we were just really happy with where every song was. And we wanted to have a presence on these social media platforms for when we're going out and playing these shows. Because we only had a few singles released before this album. And they were the first singles I'd ever produced. And so the production quality was a lot worse than it is on the album. And we wanted to set that tone and have that identity out in the world. I wasn't very nervous. I was excited. I mean, I've been listening to these songs on repeat for months, you know, to and from work, trying to get the sound just right, listening to them on repeat, on repeat, on repeat. And so now to be able to listen and not criticize as much, but instead to just reflect and appreciate how far we've come is just a massive relief. I'd rather start working on the next songs and continue to tweak these songs. I think that's kind of the beauty of music, is that, you know, you can work on something forever, but you can also move on and write another song in 25 minutes that could be what breaks the band out. So we were ready to put it out and, you know, see also what songs stuck out to people, because there is kind of a variety of genres from pop punk to like heavier grunge rock.
Definitely.
On the album. And, you know, we feel like we have that range, but our identity isn't necessarily permanently set with this album. And so we wanted to see what the people want. We kind of feel like we have an idea, but I don't really see us isolating on one particular genre for our next album. But we'll see. The songs kind of write themselves, honestly, it feels like. So it almost feels like we don't have much of a choice until you're picking the songs that you want to go on the album. That's where you can really kind of put it together. But when you're writing the songs, I feel like they just write themselves at your fingertips. And then the genre is just whatever it is when the song's done.
I think genres are becoming a thing of the past.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that musicians or even listeners are limiting themselves to specific genres anymore. I mean, Taylor Swift started out country, and sometimes she still does country, but now she's pop for the most part. Even Sleep Token, are you familiar with them?
Yep.
So Sleep Token, I dare anybody to go ahead, name what genre Sleep Token is, right? I mean,
yes.
they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's becoming a thing of the past, and the newer artists like yourself are becoming less focused on that, and I think that's genius. It's not recent, like even Unwritten Law. The song Kaylin sounds way different than the song Fight. I mean, like they're all over the place. So it's been going on for a while, and I love it.
Yeah, I was just talking to my dad about Kaylin, and
that song's 20 years old, bro.
Yeah, I know. And he was talking about when he wrote it, and he was going to be like, man, like my band is not going to let me put this on the album. And the record company was like, not only is it the album, but it has to be the single. Like, we love it. It's just the one. So it's just funny, the different perspectives. And, you know, I feel like as we have these different genres, we can make music for more people. You know, not everyone has to love every song we make, but if we can make one song that each person loves, that would be pretty awesome to us.
There is a Texas band. It is three brothers, the Goddess of Brothers, and they're from like San Angelo, I think. The name of the band is Los Lonely Boys. And well before you were born or whatever. So let's just say this is 25 years ago, 24 years ago, something like that. They had this song come out called How Far Is Heaven? And when they were shopping the album to record companies, all of the record companies, like 10 of them in a row, were like, look, we'll take this album, but you got to get this ridiculous How Far Is Heaven song off the album. It doesn't fit. It doesn't work. It doesn't even go with the rest of the album. Like, get rid of this, and then we'll put out the album. And they kept saying no. They're like, we're not doing that. You know, just sticking to their guns. They're like, this is us. Yeah. This is part of our album. This is how we want the album. This is one of our favorite songs. That song won like Song of the Year at the Grammys.
Damn.
And so to your point where, you know, some things don't fit, but if you stick to your guns and you keep to the trueness that is you and you guys together, nobody else knows you guys like you guys. You know, like all those record companies that were telling Los Lonely Boys to take a hike if they wanted that song. Like, they're all stupid because they didn't really know what Los Lonely Boys was about. And Los Lonely Boys is still playing. They're still putting out music. It's been, almost 30 years. They're still touring the world. And hands down, their biggest hit is that song that none of the record companies wanted on the album. So sticking to your guns and not bending to any specific genre, I think is going to work out in you guys' favor.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the beauty of art is, putting out what you want. It'll be here long after we're gone. So it should be exactly what we want it to be. I think we're obviously taking influence and advice from everywhere and, applying it and considering everything that people are telling us. But, we're making those decisions for ourselves with what we want to do at the end of the day.
I love it. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media, you and the band.
Social media, I think our biggest platform is Instagram. The band is Soundivision Music. Soundivision, one word, 1D, music. There's no spaces or nothing in the Instagram handle. And then mine is Tre.Russo, Tre.Russo.
Is Tre because you're a third?
It's a pretty classic story. That is definitely a factor. I'm not a third, but I was the third child born. I have an older brother and sister. My dad really wanted to name me Dre.
Because he wanted you to be a doctor?
No, my dad loves gangster rap. I mean, I do too. But Dr. Dre had just announced The Chronic, and my dad was pumped on it. And he was like, I want to name him Dre. My mom was like, no, we can't name him Dre.
Your mom was like, yeah, you're mine, right?
Yeah. And so they settled on Tre, but it's just TRE, like Dr. Dre spelled. Dr.
Tre.
Yeah, that's what my dad's called me my whole life. We're listening to Still DRE, and he is always like TRE in the back, giving me props, hyping me up. I'm like 6 years old.
That's fantastic. Okay, so Soundivision Music on Instagram?
Soundivision Music.
And Tre.Russo on Instagram. Yep. What's with the dot, bro? Was there already another Tre Russo?
I don't know. I think I just made it. It was like, instead of a space, this is my name, make it easy to read.
Sure. Where can people go to find out more about this insane touring schedule you guys are trying to creep in there?
We've got a website. It's soundivisionmusic.com. Links to all of our platforms on there, all of our shows, photos and things, videos of concerts that we've already done that are kind of edited together. That website, soundivisionmusic.com. You'll be able to find everything there.
Is there a merch tab? Do you guys have merch yet?
We do have merch. I don't think it's linked through our website, or it might be displayed on our website, but not available to purchase through there. It's something we're in the process of getting installed. But we do carry merch, shirts, hoodies, things like that. We had hats. We're just selling them at our shows right now and people that reach out.
So the only way to get it is to see you perform.
Yeah, for now. We want to make that more accessible, obviously.
You got to be in the know.
Yeah, it's a great avenue for revenue for a band. But the support on merch has been insane. These shows with Unwritten Law, the crowds have really blown away our expectations and have supported our band so much. And they've given us the funds and resources to be able to go out again and to leave California to travel, to play music. And so that's just been so awesome to see the support from them, making things possible for us.
Not to sound like a dick, but I think that part of that merch support system that you're enjoying right now is because when you're opening for Unwritten Law has developed a fan base for 30 years. So all of the people who first fell in love with Unwritten Law are all full grown ass adults with their own money. And I think that kind of makes it easier as the opener, because let's just say you're opening for, I don't know, Taylor Swift. If you're opening for Taylor Swift's fans, they don't got no money. They're saying, mommy, will you buy me that shirt? Daddy, will you buy me that shirt? But Unwritten Law fans are like 50.
Yeah, I'll drop $20 on a shirt. Let's do it.
They're like, I got my own money. I'm going to buy whatever I want. I love that. So are there plans to tour some more? I mean, I know you blew out the doors already in January of 2026. Are you guys looking to play all year long as much as you can?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the goal, is play as many shows as we can. We're reaching out to venues as much as we can, getting things booked. We've got a few shows booked in March, but we're trying to get on as many festivals, fairs, things that we can. Any sort of event with people at it, or without people at it, we just want to play. If there's one person there, we'll play. So we're doing what we can to get as many shows listed as we can. Luckily, when we play a show, usually someone will come up to us and be like, wow, that was rad. Like, I want you to play with my other band or something like that. And so we're building connections that way and adding shows to our calendar. And yeah, so we'll be announcing more soon. I know there's a few that we've got lined up that haven't been announced yet. We're waiting on flyers and things like that to come through. But yeah, stay tuned, and hopefully we'll be in your city.
Stay tuned to Soundivision Music on Instagram, ladies and gentlemen. And you're not just playing with Unwritten Law, right? You're playing without them.
No, we're doing our own shows. Yeah. Yep. 1,000%. Got to.
1,000. Yeah, you definitely have to. Does your dad come to see you when he's not playing?
He does. He does. He's a great dad. And he just loves seeing me up there. And it's nice having him in the crowd. I mean, just like any kid with a dad at their baseball game or whatever, it's the same feeling, even though I'm a grown man now.
Yeah, there you go. And I would imagine even like those, baseball dads, if your dad is sitting at a club or a bar or wherever you're playing and somebody starts talking shit about his kid, I bet he puts a foot in their ass.
Yeah, no, he puts on for us, no doubt.
All right. Well, Trey, as we're heading out here, man, is there anything we didn't talk about or I didn't ask you about specifically that you wanted to talk about today? Like, did we cover the big bits?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you got a good feel for our band. We're working hard. I really believe we've got all the talent in the world that we need. I believe in our guitar player. I believe in our drummer more than anything. And I believe in myself and the work I'm putting into it. It's just about staying the course, and really appreciate you spreading that love. And yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling. We're working hard, and we feel like we've got massive opportunity in front of us to capitalize on and do our best. So we're going to give it our all.
Shout out to Carrick and DJ. You guys are also killing it. You're crushing it. Ladies and gentlemen, Carrick, DJ, and our boy, Tre Russo of Soundivision. 1 word, 1D. I can't wait to see that shirt.
Yep. Now we got to.
You got to now.
Yeah.
One word,
we'll
1D.
Make it happen.
Trey, dude, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day and your hectic singing, songwriting schedule to hang out and let us get to know you a little bit better on Fascination Street, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been awesome, Steve. Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure, honestly. Like I said, this is my first time representing Soundivision on podcast, anything like that. So it's been a real treat, and hope to be back, man.
Absolutely. This won't be your last podcast or appearance on the show on this one, because you're fucking bad as hell.
Appreciate you, man. Whenever, I'll be around.
Dude, you're a badass. I appreciate you. And also, you are kicking the ass. This is an amazing album, and I can't wait to see what else you guys do in the future. I'm going to keep rocking out to this until somebody makes me stop.
Appreciate you, brother. Us too.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you, and you have a great rest of your week.
Sweet. Thanks, Steve.
Bye-bye. Opening music is from the song FSP Theme, written, performed, and provided by Ambush Vin. Closing music is from the song Kosh, written, performed, and provided with the blessings of Kosh Mojo himself. If you like the show, tell a friend. Subscribe and rate and review the show wherever you listen to podcasts. All episodes are available ad-free at patreon.com/Fascination Street Podcast. And don't forget to follow the show on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. And again, thanks for listening.